Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. Have you done your homework? Switchvox UC for the administrator, teacher, and school IT staff. My name is Brian Ferguson. I'm the product marketing manager for Switchvox here at Digium, and I'll be presenting today's webinar. The focus of today's webinar is how Switchvox can help your school communicate better, how it can help you stay connected, how it can help you become more mobile, and how it can help you just generally become more efficient as a school, especially when it comes to communications. We will focus this webinar primarily on the roles of the three major roles within a school: the administrator, the principals, the people who work at the front desk, just the people who are responsible for the day-to-day operations of the school. We'll talk about the teacher, and we'll talk about the school's IT staff, and we'll talk about the general problems that each of those roles face on a day-to-day basis when it comes to communications, and how Switchvox can improve those, or how it can, what kind of features and benefits that it has that address those problems and that solve them for you. So we'll talk about each role. We'll start with just a little bit of background on Digium, so you feel comfortable with us as a company and you know where we come from. We'll talk about Switchvox and kind of the big picture things that really separate Switchvox from a lot of the competition out there, so that you get a good feel for Switchvox as a product. And then we'll go through the three major steps. We'll talk about some detailed features within Switchvox, and then we'll wrap up from there. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on just a little bit of background about Digium. So Digium, just in case you weren't familiar with our company, we have two kind of sections to our company. We have the Asterisk section, and if you had not heard of Asterisk today is the world's most successful open source communications platform. We have well over 2.5 million endpoints are connected to Asterisk servers worldwide, which actually make it the second most successful phone deployment in the world. So it has a huge imprint on the communications industry. And Digium's role is we are the maintainers, primary developers, and stewards of the Asterisk project. So part of our company is just that. So we support the Asterisk open source communications project. And then we have a separate branch of our company, which is the more the commercial side, which we have Switchvox, which is our turnkey solution based upon Asterisk, and then we have some other things that we'll talk about as well. So just as a quick overview, our company was founded in 1999. We're a privately held company out of Huntsville, Alabama, here in the United States. We have a development center for Switchvox in San Diego, California. We also offer a cloud product, which we have a data center and a development center for Switchvox Cloud in Atlanta, Georgia. We're well over 200 employees today, and we're growing like crazy. We've had profitable growth since 2002 as a company, and are primarily fueled by our Switchvox business. And then we're ISO 9001 certified, which is an important operation certification to have to make sure that products are maintained and created correctly and shipped out and supported correctly as well. A little bit of profile, as you can see on the left here, we have Asterisk, which we're the project sponsor and maintainer, and then the right we have the for-profit company, All Things Asterisk. One of those things is Business Communications and Solutions, which is Switchvox. And Switchvox is a turnkey system that's based upon Asterisk. So if you think about how those two things work together, if you think about Asterisk as the engine of a car, so Asterisk does all the underlying code of a phone system, that the basic things that make a phone system go. Whereas Switchvox is the entire car. Not only is it the engine, because it has Asterisk in it, it is all the really cool things that make a car fun to drive and safe. It's the Bluetooth, the GPS, the DVD player, the leather seats, the air conditioning, the airbags, everything that makes a phone system easy to use, and then makes it have features in it that make you more productive and more efficient. We also have what we call custom communication solutions, which are the cards and add-ons that support the Asterisk project. But today we'll be primarily focused on Switchvox. All right, so Switchvox is a turnkey solution. Again, it's based upon Asterisk that is a fully featured unified communication system, but it is at a price that SMBs or small and medium businesses can afford. It's incredibly easy to use. We have sophisticated features, mobile applications, call recording, presence, and status changes. We have a switchboard, which gives people a really great interface into the system to kind of get a bird's eye view into what's going on the phone system. They can click to dial, drag and drop, transfer, and all. We'll talk a lot about that as we move through. Integration with desktop tools and applications, local support. We have distributors and partners in your area that can help you. And then we have support up to 600 users per appliance. So we can scale from very, very small up to 600 users per site. So why Switchvox? I like to think that there's 5 key things that really separate Switchvox from a lot of the competition that's out there. One of them is that all features are included. We have a very, very simple pricing model with Switchvox. If you have a user on Switchvox, they get access to everything. It includes every single feature in Switchvox. Again, call recording, mobile applications are included, call queues or ACDs are all included, full reporting package, everything is included in that one price. We're many products in one. We are a fax machine, we are a phone system, we have mobile apps, we have call recording device. We have lots of what are typically individual features or individual systems all in one package. Interoperability, we work with lots of connectivity, both on the phone side and on the provider side. So if you can think about you're connecting to your phone company, we can connect in lots of different ways, whether it's analog lines or PRIs or T1s or E1s or BRIs, lots of those connectivities to phone systems. We connect with all of them. And then we are natively SIP. So if you want to take advantage of SIP trunking and the cost savings that SIP trunking can give you, we actually work that way out of the box. And then on the phone side, we work with any standardized SIP IP phone that's on the market. So as long as it uses the industry standard for SIP, it works perfectly. We have no vendor lock-in. You can use whatever you like. We don't work on proprietary systems, so as long as it uses the industry standard for SIP, we can use it. So if you want to do like a slow rollout and maybe use your existing Cisco phones as an example while you replace them with Digium phones, which we have our own phones, that kind of thing is definitely possible. And then we are considered the best value in UC. We have the lowest total cost of ownership and an impressive ROI with Switchvox. I think once you see a quote of Switchvox, you'll be able to see how that we compare very, very favorably. Excuse me. Okay, so let's dive in now to the meat of today's webinar, which is Switchvox for the 3 roles: administrator, teacher, and IT group. So let's start with the administrator. When we talk about administrators, we're talking about the people that work at, in the office, at the front desk, your secretaries, administrative assistants, your nurses, your principals, your deans, your headmasters, the people that are responsible for the day-to-day operations of your school. And they face kind of unique challenges as a group. And here's just a list of them, and we'll kind of go over them individually. Safety is the #1 thing, especially with the instances that have happened in schools and the tragedies. Safety has never been more important in schools. Overwhelming call volume, cumbersome access to student record systems, typically dealing with antiquated communications options. Schools are known for using very, very old equipment because the budgets are often tight, so they don't can often replace a phone system. So usually it's a pretty significant upgrade when you get to upgrade. Large number of staff, students, and teachers to manage, tied to desks for communication, and then large campuses to navigate. So let's dive into these individually. All right. So here's how Switchvox can help. So safety, again, is right now the most important thing. You want to protect your students, protect your staff, protect your teachers from all kinds of things, not just intruders, but natural disasters and fires and all kinds of things. So Switchvox offers some things to help with safety. #1 is that we can broadcast emergency alerts. We can do that through we have instant messaging platform built into Switchvox. We have the ability to connect to paging systems, whether they're analog or IP systems. Intercom, you can intercom through people's phones. You can send alerts to desk phones. So Switchvox works very, very tightly with Digium IP phones. And we have partners out there, resellers of Switchvox, that have created applications for our phones because our phones have, we have the ability to integrate with them. We have an API system available for the phones that allows you to write your own applications. And one of our partners has created alerts to the desk phone, so they can actually send an emergency alert from wherever they happen to be, and all of that alert will populate on every single phone itself. So not only will you get the message on your computer, you can also send that message to the actual handset as well. And then mass phone calls, so we can interact with outgoing dialers, so that you can send mass alerts out to parents or and send those notifications out over the phone. And then mobility, we have the ability to create flexible and fast responding task forces because you can make your staff mobile. Your principal, your assistant principals, your administrators can have mobile applications on their smartphones so that they can communicate from wherever they happen to be. They don't have to be tied to their desk. They can manage things from wherever your evacuation spot is. They can become mobile, which makes them much, much more effective. All right, the next one was overwhelming call volume. So schools often face overwhelming call volume, especially at certain times of day, whether it's in the morning and you have lots of parents who are calling to get their child excused for the day, or during an emergency or situation, you have overwhelming call volume. So Switchvox can do lots of things to help. Automation with our IVRs, or interactive voice response system, we can automate lots of things. So instead of having every single phone call come directly to your receptionist or front desk worker, we can automate that process, and you can give them selections. Press 1 for to speak to administrator, or press 2 to speak to the school nurse. Press 3. You can manage that process and make it automated. You can have that automation go to mailbox and have, instead of talking to an individual, you could say, press 1 to have your student excused for the day. Press 1, and then it plays a message, and then each parent can leave a message, and then you can go back and handle those as you have time. So there's lots of ways to automate and manage that call volume. Advanced call routing, we can have calls sent wherever you need them to go, to multiple places. So instead of, again, having every single call go to your front desk worker and they become very overwhelmed, you can have those calls go to groups of people or individuals. You can interact with parent and student databases. So again, one of the great things about Switchvox is its ability to connect to third-party pieces of software. So we have an API available that allows that kind of connectivity. So one of the things that people do is they connect to your student database. So if you can imagine, when a call comes in, you could have it set up to where a parent can call in, put in their student's ID number, it interacts with your database, and it spits back their attendance status, whether they're in school or not, just as a quick example. So it can interact back and forth with your database, so that it takes the load off of your secretary or whoever that has to answer those simple questions. We have detailed reporting, so that you can report on your highest call volume situations, so that you can know when you might have to add extra staff, and you get really detailed reporting. And then we have advanced IVRs, or auto attendant, and that's that interacting with your databases and really kind of thinking outside the box with your phone system, and just automating a lot of processes that are manual today. Number 2 is cumbersome access to student record systems. So again, this is kind of leading back to that interacting with third-party pieces of software. So today, out of the box, Switchvox interacts with Salesforce CRM, Sugar CRM, Google Maps, to where when calls come in, we take the caller ID, we send it to Salesforce as an example. Salesforce spits back any account information that's related to that caller ID and gives it to you, and it posts it in a panel on our switchboard. And it basically gives your users instant access to that record within Salesforce today. So that's what's built into Switchvox, but we have an API ready that can do that kind of thing with whatever application that you use, as long as it can talk back to us. So if you're comfortable with doing that kind of integration yourself, great. If not, we have a great network of partners available that can help out with that kind of integration, or connect you with somebody who can build that for you. But once you do it, so instead of having to get on the call, ask for the information, type in the information, look it up, that kind of time can be saved by having everything automatically retrieved. So when calls come in, you can take, again, like the caller ID data, send it to your database, and spit back the student records so they know exactly who they're talking about. Any notes that were associated with that person will automatically populate on the screen, so it can really save you a lot of time. Antiquated communications options. So again, I mentioned at the beginning, schools don't get the opportunity to upgrade all the time because budgets are tight. So when you upgrade, it's typically a pretty big upgrade. And so older systems don't give you a lot of options to communicate. You basically get a phone and that's it. And a lot of times it's just a desk phone that's tied there and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing else you can do. Well, Switchvox gives you lots of different options. We have mobile applications for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry that allow you to where I can make a call from my smartphone that's actually made through Switchvox. So the people that I call will see my work caller ID as opposed to my cell phone caller ID. I can instant message and chat. I can use any SIP soft phone that I like, so you can actually have a phone on your computer. We have fixed mobile convergence, which allows me to where I can take a call on my desk phone, and I can actually move that call from my desk phone to my cell phone during a live call. So if you can imagine, I'm a principal. I get a call from something that tells me about a situation that's happening in the cafeteria, I can actually transfer that call from my desk phone in my office to my mobile phone and be getting the details of that situation while I'm en route to the cafeteria to figure out exactly what's going on. I never lose connectivity, and I get to where I'm going to go, and I get the information that I need. So you can transfer live calls from your desk phone to your mobile phone. Voicemail to email, we have the ability to get all of your email or all of your voicemails, notifications in email, and you can actually have a copy of that voicemail in your email. We have click to dial, so I can click to dial from any Firefox webpage, any Google Chrome webpage. You can click to dial from our switchboard, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Drag and drop transfer, so I can just take calls and take an existing call that I see on my computer screen, and I can drag it to the people that it needs to go to within my phone book. And again, I'll show you that in a few minutes as well. Large number of staff and students and parents to manage. So schools have a lot of people in them, and so you want to be able to have tools that can help you with that. So Switchvox does. So we have the switchboard, which is again is our user productivity tool. It's basically a tool on your computer that's web-based that gives you access to phone books, gives you access to people's status or presence, so people know where they're at. You'll be able to see which teacher is where you'll be able to see who's on the phone and who's not. So you can manage, as an administrator, I can see what's going on in my school, who's on the phone, who's not, how many calls are coming in, how many calls are waiting. I get all that information updated in real time on my computer. Instant message, we have searchable directories, so even though I have a large staff, I can search it by name really, really easily. I can do that from my desk phone, from my mobile app, and from my computer. And then again, I can integrate with third-party school management systems. So if I want to get that information, even though I have a large student database, I can get really quick access to that information and automate it so I don't have to do it manually. Tied to the desk for communication. So we talked a little bit about this before when we were talking about multiple communications options. You no longer have to be tied to your desk for communication because we have those mobile applications. Voicemail to email, I can access my voicemail from anywhere. I don't have to be at my desk phone to access my voicemail. I can do it from anywhere that I have access to my email. I can access my voicemail. Fixed mobile convergence, again, bouncing calls from my desk phone to my cell phone. I can take a call with me remotely. Soft phone, so if I want to work from home, I have my laptop and I'm working from home, I can have my extension information on my computer and I can make calls from my extension from my computer with a headset and microphone. And then we have the ability to have remote workers. So it's no secret that people that work in schools their workday doesn't stop when they leave the building. Oftentimes they have to work from home. And maybe you also have the need to have people that work from home. Maybe you have, a great example is, we've had this with other schools, the people that work the front desk, maybe they need to call in sick for the day. Maybe their child is sick. They can work just fine, but their child is sick, so they can work from home. Well, wouldn't it be great if you could give them access to some sort of phone, be able to work from home, and be able to take calls and make calls and everything from their house and not be in the building? So it gives you the ability to have remote workers, to give people the flexibility to work from home and have the exact same feature set of people that work in the building. So you can make calls, transfer calls, have access to a mobile app, everything from home, the same exact way as you can inside your school. And then lastly, we have large campuses to navigate. So school campuses are oftentimes large, and having solutions that can help you navigate those large campuses is important. Being able to integrate with existing paging systems, we can do that. The mobile applications is, again, to make your staff mobile so that they're not tied to their desk and they can cover a lot of ground. FMCs, fixed mobile convergence, so bouncing calls from one device to the other. Having the switchboard and be able to see status and who's available and who's where, what room they're in, where their classroom went. They can update their status from anywhere. Instant messaging, and then presence as well. So as you can see, lots of really challenging things that the administrators face, but lots of really great solutions handled by Switchvox. All right, so let's talk about the teacher. So teachers have their own set of problems. They take a lot of work home. Teachers, again, they have short hours considered by a lot of people, but they're not in reality because they do a lot of work from home. No communication outside the classroom. A lot of times with teachers, they have their phone in their classroom. Some teachers don't have phones in their classroom at all, but they definitely don't have anything outside their classroom. No or limited voicemail. It's very common for schools and teachers not to have voicemail. Antiquated communications options, like similar to what we had with the administrators, and limited ways to communicate with parents. So let's talk about these. See how Switchvox can be a benefit to a teacher. So take a lot of work home is the first one. So teachers work a lot from home. They're grading papers. They're interacting with with parents, they have the need to, but often can't with their current solution. So Switchvox can definitely provide them with lots of cool things to help. Again, like I mentioned with administrators, teachers that work from home with Switchvox can have the exact same interaction with the phone system as they do in the building. So as long as they have access to their mobile phone or a soft phone on their laptop or computer, whatever they happen to use, they can have the same features from their house as they do inside the classroom. We have the mobile apps that make them mobile so that they can take calls from recess out on the playground. They can do it from the gymnasium. They can do it from the cafeteria while they're eating lunch. We have voicemail to email that gives them access to their voicemails from parents or from other administrators, regardless of where they happen to be. Conferencing, each teacher on Switchvox gets access to their own audio conference room, so they can host conference calls with individual parents or with all their parents. Maybe they want to get a big group of parents together to talk about a field trip and they want to communicate all the correct information out. They can schedule their own conference call, and they can manage that whole process for themselves because it's really, really easy. All the features are included, and they can manage it themselves. And then instant message, so if they want instant message with other teachers, with other administrators, they can have that access and not have to take phone calls and be really disruptive to their classroom. No communication outside the classroom. So again, teachers are kind of hamstrung once they get outside the classroom. So not with Switchvox. They'll get access to that mobile app. They can change their presence. They can let everybody know where their class happens to be at that time. They have fixed mobile convergence, so if they get a call in their classroom, they need to take it outside the building. They can bounce that call from their desk phone to their cell phone and take it with them. And then they have personalized call rules. So teachers can do really neat things like they can set up a rule in advance that says anytime I change my status to say away at recess, all my calls will automatically go to my cell phone, whereas typically they would go to my desk phone before. So they can set these up automatically and set up all these rules for themselves. No or limited voicemail. So it was amazing to be doing research on schools how many current schools today, their teachers have absolutely no access to voicemail. So that's not the case with Switchvox. Every user on Switchvox gets access to voicemail. For the IT people on the call, you get control over that. So if you want to determine whether they have voicemail or determine how much voicemail they have, you have control. You have visual voicemail on your phone, so you can see where that call came from. So you don't have to dial into your voicemail, listen to all your old messages first to find the one you want. You just look at your screen, pick the one you want, and play, and it plays. You have voicemail on your mobile app, and you have access to voicemail from anywhere because you have Switchvox voicemail to email, and then you can dial into your voicemail from wherever you have it as well. So lots and lots of ways to access your voicemail in Switchvox. We have antiquated communications options, very, very similar to what we were finding with the administrators. And then limited communication with parents. So this helps as well. Because everybody has voicemail, you can interact with parents that way. Voice calls, video calls, we have point-to-point video available within Switchvox, so if you want to have video calls with parents, you can. Click to dial, you can create a phone book list of all of your parents, just click to dial them instead of having to look up their number all the time. You can add it to your phone directory on your actual desk Digium phone. And then you have the conferencing that we talked about as well. All right, now the IT staff. So an IT staff for a school has some unique challenges that IT staffs for general businesses just don't have to deal with. Number one is that complex administrative of current system, time-consuming and frustrating. Again, that schools are often upgrading from a very old system, which is very difficult to manage, very cumbersome. The menus and things don't make a ton of sense. They're oftentimes scripting or coding inside of it. So I think you'll see that Switchvox is much easier. Current user functionality is too complex for users to take advantage of. So schools have, and this is actually mentioned at the end, schools have very complex needs, but they have very limited functionality in their current system. And those complex needs, they need to solve a complex problem, but they need to be very easy to use. Because oftentimes a lot of the teachers and administrators they're not necessarily tech savvy, or they don't have time to learn. They need something that's really, really simple to use, and that's very, very evident in Switchvox. Tied to desktop communication, same way we talked about before, limited and restrictive budgets. So schools have budget crunches and issues that a lot of companies, private companies, don't have to manage at all. Complex deployments, and then complex staff requests with limited functionality in current system. All right, so let's see how Switchvox tackles these. Number one, we have complex and frustrating administration. Oftentimes, with an older phone system, the administration looks like that picture to the right there. With Switchvox, not the case. Everything is very simple. Intuitive GUIs. We have in-GUI help menus to make it real easy. There's no manuals that you have to keep track of or go to our website to get. No scripting or coding, and you have complete control. You have complete control over every extension, what the features they have, what your call routing looks like. You as an IT person have complete control over your phone system. It's very, very easy to manage and get around. Current user functionality is too complex for users to take advantage. So that's not the case with Switchvox at all. Everything is very, very simple. You have very complex features, but they're really easy to use. Click to dial, drag and drop transfer, touch dial on mobile. So they just look up a number and touch dial. They don't have to know the number. In-GUI, the same in-GUI help menus are available to users. And then we have lots of really great online training available that is free. Online, that we have some of it that's free, then we have some that is for paid. If you'd like advanced user training or advanced administrator training, that you can get access to that as well. Tied to desk and communication, we talked about this with the administrator and the teacher, but same thing with the IT person. Imagine if you took a call from one of your teachers, for example, as an IT guy. You could transfer the call to your mobile phone, be in that teacher's classroom, standing over their shoulder by the time they're done answering them or asking their question. So fixed mobile convergence, or being able to transfer calls from your desk phone to your cell phone, is very, very useful. And you can go backwards too. So if I'm out throughout the campus on my mobile phone, I get back to my desk and I can transfer the call back to my desk really easily. Voicemail and email, soft phones, and remote workers are available too. So if your IT staff needs to work from home, you can. If you want to have on-call lists with your IT group, you can. You can set up all that so that you can set up scheduling that says, I want this guy to be called on this specific day. If he's on call, you can set up all that in advance and really, really easily. Limited and restricted budgets. Schools oftentimes have budget restrictions that no other company has to manage. Switchvox is considered the best value when you see it. You can save up to 70% on future phone costs. We have Switchvox Cloud available. We have E-Rate available. That's the common discount program here in the United States. And then we have lots of interoperability. And the big benefit there is if you need to do slower rollout to save money, maybe you want to reuse some of your old phones and then do a slow deployment, change all your phones out to Digium phones, that kind of thing is definitely possible. Complex deployments. We can definitely handle complex deployments. We have, whether you have a campus environment where you might need multiple Switchvoxes and peer those things together. If you have a large campus, we can support 600 users per appliance. So if it needs to be large and distributed, we can handle all of that as well. So definitely contact Wavelink, and we can talk about your specific school and how it gets laid out, but we can handle it. And then complex staff requests and limited current functionality. Schools need complex, they need advanced features, but they don't have it in today's current systems. So Switchvox has that robust feature set. All the unified communications features that you've heard about, Switchvox has included, and they're all included in the price. And then you get, as an IT person, you have complete control over those features. You have complete control with permissions. You can see who gets what feature. You can turn those things on and off. And you don't have to go back and get a PO cut and pay more money for additional feature. You just turn that thing on. All right, so let's just talk about Switchvox kind of specifically now. So just kind of going back over the big picture things about Switchvox. All features are included in one low price. That includes everything: conferencing, faxing, mobile applications, Microsoft integration. If you have Outlook on your computer, you can click to dial from Outlook. You can click to dial from a contact or from an actual email. You can change your status in Outlook. You can view all of your call logs and your voicemails in Outlook. So if you work from Outlook, you can manage your phone extension from Outlook. CRM integration, presence, all of it is included in every single extension. You don't have to pay individually for any of this. Interoperability, we've talked about that several times. Being able to work with any standardized IP phone that's out there, or work with any connection to your phone system, PRI, T1, BRI, E1, SIP trunking natively out of the box. We work with all the connectivity that's out there. Easy to use. You'll see that everything in Switchvox, when you take a look at it, is simple. It's all drop-down menus and quick links. Everything is very, very easy. No scripting, no coding. Very, very simple on the computer. And then the phone is really easy to navigate around as well. Extend your phone system with third-party application integration. So here's where we have that Extend API system that allows you to connect with maybe the software that you guys use. We have a very easy-to-use API. We have a very extensive toolkit available at developers.digium.com. slash Switchvox gives you the entire toolkit for our APIs that you can get access to. So take a look. All right, the switchboard. So you've heard me mention the switchboard several times. This is what the switchboard looks like. So the switchboard is our web-based user productivity tool. So web-based gives you some great advantages there. Number one, you don't have to worry about compatibility, whether you have people that use Macs or PCs, it doesn't matter. It works on all the major web browsers that are out there, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, works on all of them. It's broken up into panels. These are panels that can be removed, so it doesn't have to look this busy. It can be resized, so if you want to just design it a little differently, you can. Each user has complete freedom of what they want their switchboard to look like. This panel up here in the upper left-hand corner is a current call panel. So I can see the active call that I'm working on. I can put the call on hold. I can record my own call on the fly. There's lots of ways to record on Switchvox. I can record calls automatically with one button here. There's a record button on my phone. I can schedule call recordings. So I can say, I want to record every call that comes into my school front desk. I want to record every call that the principal makes. So I can automate those recordings, and Switchvox will save those recordings for you. If I have the parking lot, which is like a general holding place for calls. So if I'm at the front desk, I say, please hold. I can put the call, I can drag the call into the parking lot. It assigns an extension number for that call. Then I can page out over the intercom if I want. Dr. Frederick, you have a call on 3002. Dr. Frederick can go to any phone in the building, whether it's in the cafeteria or in the library, hit 3002 and start talking to that person. Directory is searchable, so I can just type in a name. It pulls up dynamically finds whoever you're looking for. I can click to dial anybody in my directory. If I want to transfer somebody to a number in the directory, I just click on this green bar, drag the call down, and I can transfer that call directly to a person in that directory, or drag it into their phone book, directly into their voicemail. This panel down here on the left is a queue panel. So queues, if you're not familiar with queues is basically when a call comes in, the call gets routed to a group of people instead of just one person. So I can transfer that call to a group of administrators or a group of teachers or a group of IT group status, and then whoever answers that call first, maybe it goes into a certain order of them. I have complete control over that call routing. And this panel shows me how many calls are coming in, how many calls are waiting, who's on the phone, who's not, how long they've been on the phone. Real-time statistics are available for all those people. Commonly used for call centers, but there are some use cases that you can make for a school as well. This is a chat panel down here, so we have instant messaging built in. This is our phone book. These little icons here are status indicators. So like Jared is do not disturb, Christina's available, Michael would like to chat, so if he'd rather chat instead of take a phone call. So I can change my status or my presence up here. And then, so I can see who's available, who's not. This little green bar shows that people are on the phone. If I hover over this plus sign, I can intercom or chat with that person or call their mobile phone, so I can dial their external number. Or I can transfer a call to their mobile number as well by clicking on the green bar and dragging over a mobile phone, and then call goes to their mobile. Salesforce, this is what the Salesforce integration looks like. So when a call comes in, we take the caller ID, we send it to Salesforce, it spits back any account information that's related to that caller ID number and pastes it here. So as you can see, I can know who company they're from, any notes that were associated with that call are put here. I can interact back and forth with Salesforce. So picture this kind of panel with your current system. That kind of thing can definitely happen. Okay. And here's some other examples that are possible. Google lookup, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr. You can interact any web service that you want to connect Switchvox to. You can pull up this kind of information in real time. Switchvox Mobile is available, so we have mobile apps available for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. It's actually free from the respective store, and it's included with your Switchvox subscription for every user. It is permissions-based, so if you want to turn it off, you certainly can, and people won't have access to it. You can make calls on your mobile phone from Switchvox, so actually be anywhere. Dial my phone number on my mobile phone. The call gets made through Switchvox. People that I call will see my work caller ID as opposed to my cell phone caller ID, and so I can publish the correct number to parents. Switchvox holds on to that call so I can report on it, so I know how long I talked to that particular parent. So you have complete connectivity from your mobile device. I have access to my call rules, my voicemail, my directory, all from my mobile application as well, and it's all included. Game-changing convergence, this is that process I've talked about several times, where I can be at my desk, I can transfer that call to my cell phone. The person I'm talking to has no idea that it happened. I can take the call with me remotely. And I can do it backwards too, so I can go from my cell phone to my desk phone. I can actually go from my desk phone to my cell phone, take it home with me. I'm still on the call. I can transfer the call to my home landline. So I can bounce calls from all of my devices, one device to the other. Detailed reporting, we have access to a full reporting package in Switchvox. So if you want to see when all your calls are coming in, who's taking them, how long each person's been on the phone, all that information is there. Call logs, we get for our call logs, you not only see who's on the phone, how long the call lasted, and what time the call happened. We give you every single step of that call. Who made the call? Did it get transferred? Who did they talk to? How long were they on the phone with each person? Every step of that call is logged. So if you get a call, maybe one of your parents that calls up and complains that they got put on hold, they got transferred all over the place, nobody helped them, you can go back and figure out exactly what happened at every single call. Interactive voice response is our IVR or auto attendant. Some people call them, press 1 for this, press 2 for that. But again, it's more advanced than that. So if you want to interact with your third-party school system, you certainly can. Built-in call queues and ACE groups, we talked about these. A call queue is a group of people instead of routing it to just one. So if you want to do some advanced call routing, you certainly can, and everything is all included. And then you get detailed reporting on those groups as well. Collaboration, we have conferencing, we have video calling, we have chat or instant messaging, we have presence. You can see your coworker's status, what's going on with them, if they're available, away, do not disturb, are they on the phone. And then unified messaging, you can get voicemail to email, you can have back with Switchvox Notifier, you can have complete control of your extension from your email through Outlook. So lots of really great collaboration tools all built in Switchvox as well. Quickly on our phones, we have our own handsets, Digium IP phones that, as far as integration with Switchvox, are hands down better than any phone out there. We have lots of really cool benefits. Easy setup. You can provision a Digium phone in about 30 seconds with Switchvox. It's really easy. We have a developer's toolkit available, so if you want to do integration with third-party systems with the phone, like we talked about sending alerts to your phones, that kind of thing can happen. It's all JavaScript API. Status, you can view your status, you can view other people's status, you can change your status on Switchvox. Interactive voicemail, full contacts, searchable contacts list that you can actually import a contacts list from a third-party source into your phone. Call queues, if you have call queues and you want to manage your queues, you can do it from the phone. And then rack and dial BLF or busy lamp field keys that light up in different colors and do some different things depending on the status of that call. Comparing models, we have the D40, D50, D70. We actually added a phone called the D45 fairly recently. The D40 is our base phone, simple 2-line phone, has a 10100 switch on it. The D45 is the same phone, but it has a gigabit switch in there, so that's the addition. So if you have a gigabit phone or network and you want to have an inexpensive phone, the D45 is your answer. The D50 adds 2 additional lines and adds a little sidecar off to the side that gives you 10 contacts. And then the D70 is our fully featured executive or receptionist phone, which actually can have 100 contacts in this LCD screen, has 6 line keys, has a gigabit switch in it. It's a really, really great phone. All of our phones are powered over Ethernet. They all have full duplex speakerphones in them, so they sound great and have all the features that you need in a phone. All right, so that kind of wraps up our webinar for today, Switchvox for Education. Hopefully it was useful information for you. If you have any questions about Switchvox or Digium in general, please go to www.digium.com/switchvox. And if you have any questions about quotes or more information that we can get you at a local level, please dial or call Wavelink. You can email them at sales@wavelink.com.au or call them at 1300-147-000. They're a fantastic partner of ours in your area, and we'd be more than happy to help you with any questions that you have regarding Switchvox. So I definitely appreciate everybody's time today. Again, please refer to us or Wavelink if you have any questions, and I definitely appreciate it. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.